There are two ways of lying. One, not telling the truth, and the other, making up statistics. In the world of President Trump, we really want people who aren't going to lie. We want people who can sit in front of a congressional committee for hours and, however mad they may make us, never give us reason to doubt that they are telling the truth as they see it. I wanted readers to be genuinely unsure as to whether she's telling the truth or lying. It meant making her partly sympathetic and partly unsympathetic, which wasn't easy. The secular elites are so terrified of telling the truth about radical Islam. When you talk about the radical Islamists, we have got to get straight and get serious and talk about it in the right way. In the last few years, the very idea of telling the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth is dredged up only as a final resort when the alternative options of deception, threat and bribery have all been exhausted. I could never be a career politician, because I believe in telling the truth. But, the relationships that I see work, as long as they're telling the truth, and saying the things that you don't ever want to have to say to another human being. I believe in telling the truth. In nonfiction, you have that limitation, that constraint, of telling the truth. Actually being funny is mostly telling the truth about things. I've always been an artist who's about being real and about telling the truth and making music with integrity and talking about something. Because no matter what you say in life, the truth will always be the truth. You know when someone is telling the truth, you look in the eyes. I have a tendency to believe people. I know that some people shy away from what I say. They think it is too blunt, but when you don't give people that, they feel like you are being fake and you're not telling the truth. So it's like, you want me to tell the truth, but when I do, it's too much for you. Yesterday NPR fired me for telling the truth. The truth is that I worry when I am getting on an airplane and see people dressed in garb that identifies them first and foremost as Muslims. This is not a bigoted statement. It is a statement of my feelings, my fears after the terrorist attacks of 9/11 by radical Muslims. I was telling the truth. I feel like we got that point across. Poetry is a political act because it involves telling the truth. Telling the truth, and confronting the challenge, is what politics is about. This is me telling the truth. It just so happens to be a very explosive truth. You can't get there alone. People have to help you, and I do believe in karma. I believe in paybacks. You get people to help you by telling the truth, by being earnest. As someone who specializes in deception, I'll tell you this much: when someone insistently implores, "Believe me, don't." Pleading, "Believe me," or "Trust me," insisting to people that you are telling the truth, is a telltale sign that you probably aren't. I talk about the gods. I am an atheist. But I am an artist too, and therefore a liar. Distrust everything I say. I am telling the truth. A lot of people live by telling lies. I live by telling the truth. Telling the truth to people who misunderstand you is generally promoting a falsehood, isn't it? I will make a bargain with the Republicans. If they will stop telling lies about Democrats, we will stop telling the truth about them. We often want one thing and pray for another, not telling the truth even to the gods. I had earlier concluded that a war with Iraq would be a distraction from the successful and expeditious completion of our aims in Afghanistan. Now I had come to question whether the White House was telling the truth. When the people who are responsible for our country ask you a direct question, I expect them to accept a direct answer, not to be blackballed because you are telling the truth. If the Republicans will stop telling lies about the Democrats, we will stop telling the truth about them. I know that telling the truth frees me of shame and anxiety. One must be very particular about telling the truth. Through truth one can realize God. I felt like all of the American people did not believe me because of the things that were said about me, and said that people would say that it was just for the money, and it wasn't about the money. It was about what he did to me, and I knew I was telling the truth. Everyone is telling the truth all of the time. Well, it's just that times change. A gaffe in Washington is someone telling the truth, and telling the truth has never hurt me. The second one, the Joint Truth and Friendship Commission, which we started now with Indonesia, that is the one that has been criticized. Its terms of reference call for providing amnesty for those who cooperate in telling the truth. It does not lead to prosecution. I've never met or spoken to David Lee Roth, yet it's rather ironic that even he's saying Eddie's lying about things. I'm saying he's not telling the truth, yet Eddie insists that the two of us are lying. You be the judge. I've been doing this for a long time, telling the truth. I can't say why people lie, they just do. Everyone has their own reasons for not telling the truth. Rage is a really fun place to dance from. Expressions of anger sublimated into something beautiful are invigorating, especially if you feel like you're telling the truth. If you say that the history of the church is a long succession of scandals, you are telling the truth, though if that is all you say, you are distorting the truth. In this play we're dealing with relative truths, who's lying, who's telling the truth. But underneath that, Ed and I have hit this deeper level of intimacy between old friends that comes out in the play. Telling the truth matters, especially at a college. I have been thinking that I would make a proposition to my Republican friends, that if they will stop telling lies about the Democrats, we will stop telling the truth about them. Telling lies is the easy bit, but telling the truth and pretending you are lying is hard. If you have value as an artist, it's probably going to be in your capacity to let things inside you get past things that are placed there to keep you from telling the truth. The more you see things as clearly and coldly as you can, the more value you're going to have. I think I'm telling the truth. I sat by Ray Perkins at the Hall of Fame dinner in New York, and at that time he didn't know he was our coach and I didn't either. Autobiography is an unrivaled vehicle for telling the truth about other people. I think there are so many books out there written on relationships and romance that women are the authors of. How can women know exactly how men think? And there are so many guys out there with relationship books who are just not telling the truth. They have shaded parts. If you go into a police station and report a burglary, the first question is not, are you telling the truth? If you are the victim of a sexual offense, very often in the past that has been the first question. The English are polite by telling lies. The Americans are polite by telling the truth. No blame should attach to telling the truth. But it does. Visit our website for more quotes, quoting.com.